Welcome to another New Book Tuesday. Today is September 7th, and we're going to be talking about all the new books for today. Woo! Hi folks, I have been declawed, so that's a lot better now. Well, welcome to the New Book Tuesday. We're going to be talking about all of the new releases that got released today, starting with middle grade, teen, then working our way to fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, romance. If you see a star beside a book, it means that I was actually given an arc of this book, and all of my opinions will be my own for future video, but I will not let any of the works that I've read influence how I read them. Because trust me, there's one or two that I didn't like, so I will not do that. Second, if you see a TBR, it just means I'm adding it to my TBR because it intrigues me and I want to read it. Other than that, let us get started. So, the first one we're always going to be starting off with is middle grade. We actually have one book for middle grade today, and it is Born Behind Bars. So, this book is set in India, and it is seen as Indian rep culture and family. The synopsis read, set in India, the story is of a boy who unexpectedly is released into the world after spending his whole life in jail with his mom. He has been in jail since the day he was born because his mom is serving time for a crime she didn't commit. He never met his dad, so the only family he's got are his cellmates, and the only place he feels the least bit free is in the classroom where his kind teacher regales him with stories of the wonders of the outside world. Then one day a new warden arrives and announces that he is too old to stay. He gets handed over to a long-lost uncle who unfortunately turns out to be a fraud and intends to sell him. So he does the only thing he can, runs away as fast as he can and as fast as his legs will carry him. How does a boy with nowhere to go and no connections make his way? Fortunately, he befriends another street kid, and she takes him under her wing. But plotting their next move is hard and fraught with danger. In a world that cares little for the homeless children, this is not the world he has dreamed of, and he is discovering he is not the type to give up. He is ready to show the world that he and his mother deserve a place in it, which is instantly a TBR because that just sounds 100% tragic and very hopeful and sweet. And we need to make sure that kids are reading well-rounded books like this because this does happen. So it's not just fiction. So that was the one and only book in our middle grade. So we'll be moving on to our teen YA, which everybody knows is my favorite because my TBR is basically completely full with just teen books. It's okay. But the first book that we're going to be talking about is So Many Beginnings, which is a Little Woman retelling. Yeah. It's got like all black heroines in it, so we love that. But it's retelling, historical fiction, romance, and contemporary. And that cover alone is just so sweet. It's so cute. But I'm like, Joe better still be a badass. No, that's all I'm going to say. Okay. So let's start with the synopsis. So, 4 young black sisters come of age during the American Civil War in So Many Beginnings, a warm and powerful YA remix of the classic novel Little Women. So it is North Carolina, 1863. As the American Civil War rages on, there is a small haven for the recently emancipated people. Black people have begun building a community of their own, a refuge for the shadow of the old life. It is where the March family has finally been able to find safety and put down roots to their 4 daughters. Meg, a teacher who longs to find love and start a family of her own. Jo, a writer whose words are too powerful to be contained. Beth, a talented seamstress searching for a higher purpose. Oh God, we all read the story of like Little Woman. I don't want Beth to die again. I can't do it every time. That was a brief pause, I'm sorry. Amy, a dancer eager to explore life outside her family home. As the 4 March sisters come into their own as independent young women, they will face first love, health struggles, heartbreak, and new horizons. Do not kill Beth. It's going on the TBR. I really don't want them to kill Beth again. They kill Beth in every single one. Everyone. On to a happier note, Well, Mysterious Gnome is the Hawthorne Legacy, which is book 2 in the Inheritance Game series. I haven't read the series yet, so it is automatically on my TBR because I do want to read it. Everybody raved about it, and I'm really interested. But this is seen as a thriller, mystery, fantasy, romance book, and it follows our heroine as she continues on her journey. The Inheritance Game ended with a bombshell, and now heiress Avery has to pick up the pieces and find the man who might hold the answers to all of her questions, including why Tobias left his entire fortune to Avery, a virtual stranger rather than his own daughters or grandson. Thanks to a DNA test, Avery knows that she is not a Hawthorne by blood, but clues pile up hinting a deeper connection to the family that she has ever imagined. As the mystery grows and the plot thickens, Grace and Jameson, the magnetic Hawthorne grandsons, continue to pull Avery in different directions, and there are threats lurking around every corner as the Avery series emerge. Who will stop at nothing to see Avery out of the picture by any means necessary. I'm very interested in this. Everybody talked it up. Everybody loved it. And the premise alone seems really interesting. So I'm very excited for this. Next one is a book that is my best friend's favorite princess. It is the retelling. It is called What Once Was Mine. What Once Was Mine. Please don't disown me, best friend. I love you. But it is obviously a retelling. It's the Disney retelling series where the villains are kind of like, I think it's, no, that's the other one. It's the one where like they say, what if this happens? So it is considered fairy tale retelling and fantasy. The 12th installment in the New York Times best-selling series, What If Rapunzel's mother drank a potion from the wrong flower. Oh, is that if anyone's watched the TV animated series, is it this? Desperate to save the life of their queen and her unborn child, the good people of Corona searches for all healing sundrop flower to cure her, but mistakenly acquire the shimmering moondrop flower instead. Nonetheless, it heals the queen and she delivers a healthy baby girl with hair as silver and gray as the moon. With it comes dangerous magical powers, the power to hurt, not heal. For her safety and the safety of the kingdom, Rapunzel is locked in a tower and put under the care of the powerful good wife, Mother Gothel. She's not good, no. For 18 years, Rapunzel stays locked up, knowing she must protect others from her magical hair, but when she leaves the only home she's ever known, wanting to see the floating lights that appear on her birthday, she gets caught up in an adventure across the kingdom with two thieves, a young woman named Gina and Flynn Rider, a rogue on the run. Before she can reach her happy ending, Rapunzel learns that there may be more to her story and her magical tresses than she ever knew. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is TBR. I haven't read any of those, and I'm super into Disney. Some of them I'm just like, I don't want to think about what if this happened. No, I want the original story, and that is it. Next book is The Last Legacy. And this one is considered adventure, romance, history, and fantasy? Yeah, fantasy. It is when a letter from her uncle Henry arrives on Bryn's 18th birthday, summoning her back to Bastane. Bryn is eager to prove herself and finally take her place in her long-lost family. Henry has plans for Bryn, but she must win everyone's trust if she wants to win any power in the delicate architecture of the family. It doesn't take long for her to see the Roths are entangled in shadows, despite their growing influence in upscale Bastian. Their hands are still in the kind of dirty business that got Bryn's parents killed years ago. With a forbidden romance to contend with and dangerous work ahead, the cost of being accepted into the Roths may be more than Bryn's can pay. That didn't give me a lot. Like, I don't know what the plot is. Like, is it just like maybe I'm really like thick or something, but I don't really see what this is. The plot is like, obviously, like, her family's kind of maybe a little bit shady and she's getting accepted into it. Okay. I don't know about that one. We'll see. Maybe the synopsis just wasn't good. Okay. From that to this. Okay. This is my most anticipated book, and I actually got it like this morning. I'm super excited to read it. I really hope it lives up to all of my hopes and dreams. So I didn't receive any arc of this. I bought this with my own money. I was just very excited to read this because it is Dark and Shallow Lies. This book is mystery, thriller, and supernatural, and the cover alone got me into it. Like, I really love like New Orleans and Louisiana. I really would love to visit those places one day, and this is set in Louisiana. And wait till you hear the synopsis. You're gonna be interested, trust me. A teen girl disappears from her small town deep in the bayou where magic festers beneath the surface of the swamp like a water rot in this chilling debut supernatural thriller. Louisiana is the worst place to be if you have something to hide. This tiny town where 17-year-old Gray spends her summers is the self-proclaimed psychic capital of the world, and a place where Alora, Gray's best friend, disappeared 6 months ago. Gray can't believe that Flora vanished into thin air any more than she can believe that nobody in the town full of psychics knows what happened. But as she digs into the night that Alora went missing, she begins to realize that everybody in town is hiding something. Her grandmother, Honey, her childhood crush, Hart, and even their late mother, whose secrets continue to call to Gray from beyond the grave. When a mysterious stranger emerges from the bayou, a stormy gray-eyed boy with links to Aurora and the town's bloody history, Gray realizes that the past is far more present and dangerous than she ever understood. Suddenly, she doesn't know who she can trust. In a town where secrets lurk just below the surface and where a murderer is on the loose, nobody can be presumed innocent. I'm so excited to read this. I can't wait to read this book. Oh, I can't wait to read this book. Okay. The next book is A Clash of Steel. This cover is beautiful, and I didn't realize this is also a retelling of Treasure Island. So this book is a classic retelling, LGBTQ+, gender bend, and I believe, please tell me if I'm wrong, it's Asian mythology kind of inspired, or Asian, like, set in Asia. But it is following two girls as hunt for the mysterious treasure on the deadly high seas in this YA remix of the classic adventure novel, Treasure Island. 1826. The sun is setting on the golden age of piracy, and the legendary dragon fleet, the scourge of the South China Sea, is no more. Its ruthless leader, a woman known as the head of the dragon, is now only a story, like the ones you've grown up with. A young woman is desperate to prove her worth, especially to her mother, a shrewd businesswoman who never seems to have enough time for her. Her father is also only a story, dead at the sea before she was born. Her single memento of him is a pendant she always wears, a simple but plain piece of gold jewelry. But the pendant's true nature is revealed when a mysterious girl named Ahin steals it, only to return it to her in exchange for her help in decoding the tiny map scroll hidden inside. The revelation that her father sailed with the dragon fleet and tucked away his secret changes everything. Rumor has it that the legendary head of the dragon has one last treasure, the plunder of thousands of ports, that for decades has only been a myth, a fool's journey. Convinced this map leads to the fabled treasure, embark on a thrill of an adventure. Okay. Yes. TBR, because that sounds really good and I really want to hear it. Also, this does seem like it's Asian. So, hopefully yes. Okay. The next book we're going to be talking about is Act Cool. So this book is considered LGBTQ+, contemporary, romance, and music. It follows a trans teen as they walk the fine line between doing whatever it takes for acting dream and staying true to themselves in this moving, thought-provoking YA novel. Aspiring actor August Green has landed a spot on the prestigious School of Performing Arts in New York. The only problem is his conservative parents won't accept that he's transgender, and to stay with his aunt in the city, August must promise that he won't transition. Bullshit. Fuck them. Fuck them. August is convinced he can play the part his parents want while acting cool in company of his talented new friend. But who is August when the lights go down, and where will he turn when the rules start hitting a little too close to home? Fuck his parents. 100% TBR, and fuck his parents. Like, I would love them to be like, get accepting towards the end of the book, or like fully like, oh, we were wrong, but also fuck your parents. Fuck your parents. Fuck them. We support in this house. Anyway, the next book we're going to be talking about is The Splendor. So this book is seen as fantasy and sci-fi. It is a really pretty cover, actually. I do like that. The Splendor isn't a glamorous hotel. It's a magical experience that gives guests the fantasy fulfillment of their dreams. But the Splendor didn't make Juliet's dreams come true. It ruined her life. Oh, God. Okay. After a week-long stay, Juliet's sister Claire returns from the hotel change. Her connection to Juliet, the special bond they once shared, has vanished. In a moment of hurt and frustration, Juliet steals their meager savings and visits the Splendor herself. When she arrives, she's taken in by the lush hotel, but as she dives more deeply into the mystery of the place and how they make their illusions work, she grows more and more uneasy. The Splendor has a seedy underbelly, but every time she gets close to discovering something real, she seems to hit a wall. Meanwhile, Juliet meets Henry, an illusionist who lives and works at the hotel. Henry's job is to provide Juliet with the same signature experience he gives all the guests, one tailored fantasy that will make her stay unforgettable. As he gets to know her, he realizes that not only is he ill-equipped to make her dreams come true, he's the cause of her heartache. Oh, TBR. My TBR is going to be so long, but TBR. Like, this sounds really interesting, and I want to read it. Well, we're on to the next book, folks. We're almost to the end. Got a few more books to go, but this book is called Awakened. I did read this, as you can see from the little star. Not going to give it any hint what my thoughts were. So, this book is considered fantasy and supernatural. So, after losing her parents in an accident that only she survived, Hannah is desperate for answers. Haunted by the events of that tragic night, she struggles to move on, yearning for some deeper truth about her loss. But when it comes time to turn a new page and move across country for college, she vows to leave the past behind. After all, Belcliff University is 1,000 miles away from the ghost nipping at her heels. Yet when Hannah accidentally awakens a handsome witch from a hidden cave near campus, she realizes he isn't the only thing stirring out of slumber. Hannah has roused all magic, including the devil herself. As if spell, curses, and college jitters weren't enough, this witch claims to know Hannah from 4 centuries prior, and their connection is more than casual. Thrust into a world of sorcery and monsters, Hannah must fight to keep the magic she unleashed from claiming a price far too steep for her to pay. Yeah. We'll move into the next one. So, the next one is The Problem with the Other Side. So, this book is contemporary romance, and it does talk about, like, discrimination and, like, has, like, some topics of classism and racism. So, Uli would rather watch old westerns with his new girlfriend, Sally, than get involved in his high school politics. Why focus on the bad and ugly when his days with Sally are so good? His older sister, Regina, feels differently. She's fed up with the way white school body presidential candidate Leona talks about black students. Regina decides to run against Leona and convinces Uli to be her campaign manager. Sally has no interest in managing her sister's campaign, but how could she say no? After their parents' death, Leona is practically her only family. Even after Leona is accused of running a racist campaign that targets the school's students of color, including Sally's boyfriend Uli, Sally wants to give her sister the benefit of the doubt. But how long can she ignore the ugly truth behind Leona's actions? Together and apart, Uli and Sally must navigate siblings' loyalty and romantic love as the campaign spirals towards a devastating conclusion. Oh yeah, TBR, we're adding that real fast. That just seems like a really interesting book. The next book we're going to be talking about is The Jasmine Project. So this is a rom-com, like romance contemporary with an Asian main character. So Jasmine's life is great. Well, it's okay. She's about to move in with her longtime boyfriend, Paul, before starting a nursing program at community college, all of which she mostly wants. But her stable world is turned upside down when she catches Paul cheating. Fuck him. To her giant, overprotective family, Paul's loss is their golden ticket to showing Jasmine that she deserves much more. The only problem is Jasmine refuses to meet anyone new. But what if the family set up a situation she wouldn't have to know? A secret Jasmine Project. The plan is simple. Use Jasmine's graduation party as an opportunity for her to meet the most eligible teen bachelors in Orlando. There's no pressure for Jasmine to choose anyone, of course, but the family hopes that their choices will show Jasmine how she should be treated, and maybe one will win her heart. But with the family fighting for the favorites, bachelors going rogue, and Paul wanting her back, the Jasmine Project may not end in love, but total heartbreak disaster. Oh God, I hope it ends in good things. This is gonna be added to my TBR because this is cute. Like, they're just like, we're just gonna casually set it up. It's fine. Like, it's like meet cute. It's like, oh, it's kind of like the Meet Cute project that I really loved, but like this is more like with her family, and she has no knowledge probably. Yeah, I want to read this. This is really cute. So the next book we're going to be talking about is Never Saw You Coming. So this is a contemporary romance book, and the synopsis reads, raised by conservative parents, 18-year-old Meg just found out her entire childhood was a lie. Instead of taking a gap year before college to find herself, she ends up traveling north to meet what's left of the family she never knew existed. While there, she meets Misha, a former pastor kid whose dad ended up in prison, leaving Misha with his own complicated relationship about the church. The clock is ticking on Pastor Allen's probation hearing, and Misha, now 19, feels the pressure to forgive even when he can't possibly forget. As Meg and Misha grow closer, they confronted with the heavy flirting of first love and the complication it brings. Together they must navigate the sometimes painful process of cutting ties with childhood beliefs as they build towards something truer and straight from the heart. That's really cute. I might think about that one. That's kind of cute. Okay. The next book we're going to be talking about is The Night No One Had Sex, and it's another arc that I received, and I'm not quite done yet. But this is an LGBTQ+ romance contemporary book, and literally it just sounds so funny and cute, especially from the title. So, it's the night of senior prom, and 18-year-old Julia has made a pact with her friends. Yes, that kind of pact. They have secured a secluded cabin in the woods. Oh, that sounds like a horror thing, but no. One night without parental supervision and plenty of condoms. But as soon as they leave the dance, the pact begins to unravel. Alex's grandmother is undergoing emergency surgery, and he and his date rush to the hospital. Zoe's trying to figure out how she feels about getting off the wait list at Yale and how to tell her girlfriend. Madison's chronic illness flares holding her back once again from being a normal teenager. And Julia's fantasy-themed roleplay gets her locked in the closet. Alternating between each character's perspective and the ridiculous group chat, The Night No One Had Sex finds a group of friends navigating the transition into adulthood and embracing the uncertainty of life after high school. This alone sounded amazing, and I haven't finished it yet, but like, I've already talked this up to my friends, so this is not me hindering, like, oh, like, your thing's coming through, She-fra. Like, I talked this up before I even got approved, and I was like, I want to read this. This sounds so cute and funny. So, yes, super excited. The next book is actually called Major Detour. I also got an arc of this. I got an arc, but I have to physically go get the book because it has a really unique storytelling thing. Like, choose your own adventure. Like, just like, hey, if you choose this sentence, go to page 19. And I really like that, but my computer, I think, glitched and really messed up, so like I can't see page numbers, so I have no idea where to go. So gonna read this because I just literally read the first 2 pages and I was like, oh no, I can't do this. So gonna physically read that book. But this book is seen as fantasy, LGBTQ+ mystery. Choose your path forward in this mystery alternative YA book with the power of friendship, self-discovery, and tarot cards. It's the summer before college, and 4 best friends, Amelia, Chase, Cleo, and Logan, are on the first leg of their road trip, inspired by the unique tarot card that Amelia inherited from her grandmother. However, their trip, full of visiting occult shops, bonding, sightseeing, is taking a major detour as the friends discover that their tarot card is more valuable and coveted than they would have ever imagined. As the friends race to finish their mystical scavenger hunt across the West Coast and uncover the mysteries of the tarot card. It is you who will decide where to go next and how the story will end. With 4 possible final and romantic endings, you will get to make actual choices to further the friends' road trip adventure in this unique, interactive novel. 100% I'm going to go read this 4 times because I want 4 different endings. So, yes, physical copy is needed. Or Kindle that tells you the page books, because my iPad did not. And I was so confused and did not know how to go. The next book is another book that I actually have an arc of, The Last Beautiful Girl. It is seen as horror thriller. Oh yeah. When Izzy is dragged from Brooklyn to stay in a tiny town for her parents' new job, she's not thrilled. The silver lining is the gorgeous old mansion she's moved into, the former home of an artist muse who died tragically in a fire. But the house has its quirks. Whole floors are closed off, paintings are covered up, and cell reception is non-existent. Izzy throws herself into starting an Instagram fashion account using the gowns and jewelry she finds hidden away in the house. She looks perfect in the photos, almost unnaturally perfect. They're quickly going viral. She's got a new best friend, a potential boyfriend, and is surrounded by a group of girls who want to do photo shoots and they want the fame for themselves. But there's a darkness in the house, and a darkness growing in Izzy too. When girls start dying, it's clear that something or someone in the house is growing in power with deadly intentions. Kind of hope this is supernatural. A little bit hoping it's supernatural. The next book, which is another highly anticipated book, which I got an arc of, and I'm not finished because I got told that my book was literally coming today, and I'm going to get it today, is The Bones of Ruin. I'm so excited to finish this. This is not a thing, because I've only just started it, so it doesn't count a thing, because it could switch around and I could hate it. But I don't think so. It's literally a historical fiction, romance, sci-fi book, and this synopsis is giving me everything. So, as an African tightrope dancer in Victorian London, Iris is used to being strange. She is certainly a strange sight for a leering British audience, always eager for the spectacle of colonial curiosity. But Iris has also a secret that is even stranger. She cannot die. Haunted by her unnatural power and with no memory of her past, Iris is obsessed with discovering who she is. But that mission gets more complicated when she meets the dark and alluring Adam, a member of the mysterious order called the Enlightenment Committee. Adam seems to know much more about her than he lets on, and he shares with her a terrifying revelation. The world is ending, and the committee will decide who lives and who doesn't. Holy. To help them choose a leader for the upcoming apocalypse, the committee is holding the Tournaments of Freak, a competition made up of vicious fighters with fantastical abilities. Adam wants Iris to be his champion, and in return he promises her the one thing she wants most, the truth about who she really is. If Iris wants to learn about her shadowy past, she has no choice but to fight. But the further she gets into the grisly tournament, the more she brings to remember, and the more she wonders if the truth is something best left forgotten. It's fine. I'm so excited. So that was the end of the teen books. Now we're moving into our fiction, romance, sci-fi, and fantasy. And we will actually be kicking it off with our fantasy section, because that is all we have. We only have fantasy. 3 fantasy books. So, the first book is Certain Dark Things, and I did get an arc, and I have finished this book, and I will not be giving any hint of what I thought of it. So, it is a supernatural, horror, mythology, mafia kind of book. So, welcome to Mexico City, an oasis in a sea of vampires. Domingo, a lonely garbage collecting street kid, is trying to survive its heavily policed streets when a jaded vampire on the run swoops into his life. Alt, the descendant of Aztec blood drinkers, is smart, beautiful, and dangerous. Domingo is mesmerized. Alt needs to quickly escape the city, far from the rival vampire clan relentlessly pursuing her. Her plan doesn't conclude Domingo, but little by little, Alt finds herself warming up to the scrappy young man and his undeniable charm. As the trail of corpses stretches behind her, local cops and crime bosses both start closing in. Vampires, humans, cops, criminals collide in the dark streets of Mexico City book. Moving on to the next one, because can't say anything. Next one is the Mad Trinkets. I have received an arc of this, and I haven't even started it yet, so hoping to get on that soon. But this one is a fantasy gothic series. Book. No book, just book. Yeah. A renowned warrior, a grim daughter, and her biographer, William Bardeen, aid a young girl seeking vengeance for the murder of her father, a trinket bearer and the victim of the king's obsession with finding occult artifacts. When a madman resurrects from the shadows to exact revenge upon the land of White Cloud, they must join forces with a deadly assassin and a mysterious knight to save its inhabitants, and then kill the king. But the girl's desire for vengeance may very well aid the madman they are determined to stop. Oh, that sucks when your revenge is gonna aid someone. Ooh. But yeah, it sounds really interesting. It's only one book in a series, I believe, and I'm interested to read it. Really trying to get into high fantasy, and this is one. The next book we're going to be talking about, and it's the last book, is Among Thieves. Now, this is an LGBTQ plus fantasy heist book, and I thought it was actually teen, and it's not teen. A high-stake heist novel set in a gritty world of magic and malice. In just over a year's time, Rhea has already earned herself a reputation as the quickest, deadliest blade in the dockside city of Kerriwick, not to mention the sharpest tongue. But Rhea is not her real name. For the past 6 years, a deadly secret has kept her in hiding, running from town to town, doing whatever it takes to stay one step ahead of the formidable guildmaster, the ruler of the 5 kingdoms. No matter how far or fast she travels, his servants never fail to track her down, but even the most powerful men can be defeated. Rhea's path now leads directly into the heart of the Guildmaster's stronghold, and against every instinct she has, it is not a path she can walk alone. Forced to team up with a crew of assorted miscreants, smugglers, and thieves, Rhea must plan her next move very carefully. If she succeeds, her freedom is won once and for all. But unfortunately for Rhea, her new allies are nearly as selfish as she, and they have plans of their own. Oh god, okay. Very interested to read this because it's going on my TBR, folks. It just kind of gives like one for all. One for all is not the case. It's going to be all for one for multiple characters in this book. And I'm very excited because I know that is the basis of a found family, and I am all for that. So folks, that was New Book Tuesday for today. I hope you found some books that you're interested to read. If there's any books that I missed, definitely for middle grade, or maybe some teen books. I don't know. There's definitely some books I've missed. Can't get them all. Please comment below and let me know. Give a like, subscribe. Don't do any of that stuff if you don't want to. Maybe I'll see you next time. Have a great day.